Hello and welcome to my channel, Making Crafts. Today I'm using the Hydrangea Kit by Marcy Coate, and I'll link that below. And I'm creating a flip pocket sort of thing that goes into your journal. You could put it in the back of your journal, on the back cover or the front cover, or you could attach it to a page. So today we are going to be using an envelope, a junk mail envelope, and this one is just like a return envelope that came with some bills or something. And so we're going to be using one of those, and we're also going to be using one of the sheets from the kit, and I've cut this down to 5.5. Let me make sure. I've cut it down to 5.5 by 8. And this way it will fit onto the page, or it can fit into the back cover, or into your book. So this will be attached to the back cover, be attached to the page. So this is a good size, I think, for the journal that I'm making. And you can just change the measurements, make it bigger or smaller depending on the size journal that you're making. And so for the envelope, we're going to start out by cutting it in half. And my envelope, I think, is an odd size, so I may cut it down just a little bit more than a half. So it's 8 3/4. It's easier for me to do the math at 8. Actually, it's bigger than I need anyway. Well, it'd be easier to do the math at 8.5. That's right, because when I cut it in half, it'll be okay. So I'm gonna cut it down, and then once I cut it down to 8.5, then I'm gonna cut it again at 4 1/4. No, let's see, 8.5. So 8.5 divided in half would be 4. Yeah, 4 1/4. Okay, so I'm just going to cut it in half again. And so one side is going to have the window, and the other side is not. And let's see, yeah, that's good. Okay, so now let me put my trimmer away. So now we have our two pieces. So what we're going to do is these are going to attach to the top of our page and to the bottom of our page. So I want the window at the top, and I want and these are going to be pockets that flip open, and then I want the plain at the bottom. And I just want to look and see if that's going to be a big enough gap. If not, I'm just going to trim it down. But actually, I like that. Let me look at it real good, making sure that I like how that's going to be. I do like it like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to collage the envelopes. And I'm not going to worry about gluing them shut yet. I'm just going to leave them like they are, and I'm going to collage them first. So I'm just going to collage the front of them. I'm going to leave the back as is. And the inside has a little bit of a stripe, so I'm thinking for the inside I will add a piece of paper to it as well. So let me get my tearing ruler and some of my book pages. I've pulled out some book pages that I want to use to collage it. And let me see what I want to put on the inside. I think I'll put this music sheet on the inside. So let me see what size it needs to be. Oops, I got my ruler upside down. Okay, so we're just going to tear that. Just tear it down to size. It will fit inside there and not stick out. Okay, so then we're just going to add a little glue and put it on the inside. I could have used my Barely Art glue. I think that's what I'll pull out. I might use that instead for the rest of the project. But let me see. I should have tested this before I put the glue on it. So now if it's too big, I'll just have to figure out a way to cut it. So you slide that in. Make sure I get it in there good. Down to the bottom. Okay. That's good. And so I did have it a little big there, so I'm just going to take my scissors and just trim the little extra off. I didn't even think about the length here. That's no problem. I just trim it off right up against the top of the envelope. There we go. And we fold that up so it doesn't get on any of my counters and stuff, and that way I got all the glue off. Okay. Since this one doesn't have a window, we don't have to worry about covering the inside of it. I think it'll be fine. And so then this one, we've got it covered to that point. Let me get the paper out of the way. Okay, so let's just start collaging these. And covering them up with our paper. So I'm going to use some music sheets and some just different book pages to cover it, because I could use some paper from the kit, but I think that that's going to be too much of all the bright colors. So that's why I'm going to do it like this and see. Then, and I don't mind, I put that upside down, but I think it looks good to turn the papers different directions instead of all one direction. Okay, so then this one, cover here. And then I'm going to decorate these with the ephemera from the kit. And that's why I cut that out, is because I am going to decorate it using those. So I think that's where the color will come in, is through that. Let me see here. I've got some book pages here that I've gotten torn out and ready. Let me see. I've got to get a longer piece, maybe like in here. That's good. Okay, let me just tear off right there. There we go. And let's see, what kind of paper do I want to add to the, I don't want to put another book page on top of a book page. Let me see what I have here. Here's a page from a wildflower book, so I think that would be good in here. And it adds another color and another font to the whole set. And I'm not sure how I wound up with this 3 stripes down here at the bottom. I'm not sure that I like that. Maybe I should do it like this. So maybe I should add it maybe more like that, cover it up some. Go. So we'll just add this here. Okay, so now we've got that one collaged. Let's go ahead and collage this one, and then we will worry about decorating it. So let's see here. Maybe put that there. And I'm just going to frame out the window. Let's see, that's blue instead of purple. So let me get my I needed to get my, okay. So I'm going to just use a light brown around the edges so that it frames out this window here. Just framing it out just a little bit. So I'm just going to do that from the pieces that go around the edge. I'm not going to do all the pieces that way. Just the ones that's going on the edge here. There we go. And then let's see, what do we want? Let's get a little music piece and maybe do it along the bottom here. So that'll be good. And then I'll go around and I'm going to trim. I'm letting it hang off, and then I'll trim around the edges, the extra that's hanging off. Let's see here. See if that frames it out just a little bit. I'm just going to add glue here. Since my piece is bigger than the spot, I'm going to have to trim it off. I want to add just a little bit of glue to the actual envelope, so that I'll slide that up there. Cover it just a little bit there. And then let's take a piece from this book. I just need a very small piece there. Let me hold on. I'm going to put this piece up here. I don't know that I want that. Let's try some of this calligraphy at the top there. see how that looks. I do like that. And it's going to cover this whole space right here. So I'm just going to, I almost forgot to darken the edges. There, we're just going to line that up right there and press it down. And then let's cut some of this off, and I may just use some of this. Not cut my little flap off my envelope though. Okay. Make sure I didn't cut my envelope open. If so, I can just glue it shut. If you do, no worries, you can just glue it shut. But I just want to make sure. And then there's a little piece there. And that little piece may actually work great right here. I should have brought that piece all the way up, but that's okay. And then I need a little piece right there. Let's see about this piece. I think it can fit right in here. And let me get my other glue. Since that's such a little small line, it would be easier to put this glue on there. There we go. And then I'm just going to line it up right there. And then I'll just trim it off. And I forgot to ink around those edges, but I think it'll be okay. Let me just take my, just do a little bit right there. And just trim this piece off. And we're almost done collaging them. And I have that little spot right there. I wonder if this piece would go just perfectly. Okay, so now let's just decorate these now that they're collaged. And I've just went ahead and cut out the ephemera like I said. So let me see what I have here and which pieces I want to put on which ones. I cut this one out. It's a, got to remember now, this one, to make the right direction, this is the right side up for this one. And then this one's this way. So you want your flap at the top here and your flap at the bottom here, so that you don't get your picture upside down. Okay, so I've just paused the camera, so I'll just take a minute and figure out how I want to lay these out. And I'm still trying to decide, trying to get figured out how I want all this to look. So I'm thinking for this one, I am going to put the little clock there, and then the little label here, and I'm not sure if I want to put the word there. I'm thinking for this one, I'm going to put, with brave wings, she flies, and I've put a little Tim Holtz, so I'm thinking kind of like this, maybe, or maybe like down in here. I think that his stickers just really add something to everything you do. So I'm going to ink with some black ink around this edge where I cut it. You can kind of see the white edges, so I'm going to ink that. And then I'm going to just ink around here just to darken the black back onto the edge. Where I cut it out with my scissors, it left like a little white edge. And so then I'm just going to attach it right there. And then I'm going to attach the little, I guess it's a butterfly. It may be a moth, but it's pretty. And I think it's got the blues in it from this kit, so I'm going to use it on this little piece. And this is a clock from one of the ephemera pages in the kit. So this clock comes from the kit, and I think I printed it at full size. Different pieces are printed at different sizes, so I'll try to remember to tell you as I glue them on, and if I remember which ones I printed at a different size. So let's just add the little thing there, and then right here with brave wings she flies, and so that'll be good there. And then we'll fold down that way. And so this one, then I think this one I'm going to put, darling, you are a work of art. I think it's cute. So let me see how that looks. Do I want to put it like right in here? Maybe right in there. And I cut that clock in half. It comes full size. And I've cut this other clock in half as well. My finger's got glue on it. But I just like them in half instead of the whole thing. So I'm just going to add that. And I don't know if I want the little thing there, or just like a little flower. Here's some little things, flowers that come in the kit that you could layer. I kind of like that, so that's how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to add the clock, and once again I'm going to ink around the edges of it, just to get the little black lines back where I cut it off a little bit. And then I'm just going to add it to this envelope. And then, let's see here, just put it on here like this. There we go. And then I'm just going to take these little flowers, I'm just going to scrunch them up just a little bit. And then I'll add a little pearl on the inside of it, I think. So let's just scrunch them up and then attach them here. These are just like some little scallop piece that I cut out. This is part of the ephemera kit as well. It comes in the kit, and it's just a little, oops, I forgot to scrunch this one. And it's just a little scallop piece with the flowers on it. So it looks like a good little, makes a good little flower for your, to add dimension to your page. So let's put that there. And then I have some pearls in my little basket over here. And let's see, should I put a big pearl or a little one? I think that's pretty right there. I like that. Just going to try to make it folded up a little bit so it has a little dimension. And there we have, and we'll just press this one down. The sticker, I didn't press it down yet. I like to lay them out there. I don't press them down until I'm ready. Okay, so that looks really cute. So now let me clean up some of this mess so that we can move on to the next step. So as I was cleaning up, I felt like that we needed a little something else on here. So this is a little butterfly from the kit, and I did print that page half the size as well. So now we're just going to be adding these, the half envelopes to our page. So we're just going to take, and the flap of your envelope is going to be what attaches to the back of the page, and at the top as well. And so we're going to attach those, but first I want to line these up, and I'm going to just see where they're going to be. And so I went ahead and got out of my kit. I'm not sure what you call these little things, but I think it's like the things that's on the back of pictures, where you turn them to open up the picture frame. It's on the back of picture frames, and you open up your picture frame with them, and so it's some sort of frame hardware. But since I put these close together like this, I was thinking that it would be neat to use it and line it up so that it holds both of them shut, and then when you want to open them, you would just turn it like that. So I am going to go ahead and mark on my page. Well, first I think I'll glue these on, and then I'll mark on my page where I want it. But I'm looking at this trying to decide, should I ink around these with anything? Maybe I should ink around with a little blue or something. I don't know. Maybe just a little bit of brown, just a little bit. I don't want this book to be very vintage, so I'm trying not to over ink everything in this book that I'm working on. Kind of want it to be bright and cheery. So I think I like that a little better, framing it out. I'm just lightly going across the edges here, and then I'm just going to glue them on. And I think I will sew around it, but I think that it won't be a problem to sew it once I get it glued on. So first I want to take and glue my envelope shut. So I'm just going to run glue. Let's move this out of the way. So I'm going to run glue along the edge here on both sides. Not the top now, because we don't want to glue the top shut. The top's going to be a pocket. So we just want to glue the sides. And you just want to glue those back where we had to cut those open earlier to trim it down. I got a little bit of glue right there from earlier. Okay, so we just want to press those down. And then the other one is opened. Let's see where it's opened. It's just opened on one side, so we just want to take and add a little glue up the side of it, and then just close it so that it's just a pocket at the top. I'm just gonna, where I put that pearl on, it was hard to put it flat, so I'm just gonna hold it up and do it like that. And now let's take and add it to our paper. So you want to be sure you have your paper the right direction, so that this is the top and bottom, because you don't want to get it mixed up. So now I'm just going to add some glue up here where on the flap that you would normally, use to close your envelope. You're just going to add some glue there, and then we're just going to attach it right here. I think I'm going to add a little bit more all the way up to the, go ahead and add it all the way up to the fold line almost. Not quite to the fold, but And then I'm just going to center it up on my paper here. Make sure that looks centered. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not going to measure center it. It just needs to be eyeballed centered. And then just press it down. And there we go, that one. And don't worry about how that looks, because you're going to glue this, even though you can see those lines, we're going to glue this to the page, so you're never going to see the back. And so then when you're opening it, it'll be like that. And if this bothers you, you could cover it. That doesn't bother me at all, so I'm not going to cover it. And I'm trying to see if it's hanging off the edge here some. It might need to trim off. Need to trim off just a little more paper here. Didn't trim all the way up to the envelope edge, so there we go. And so we have our top one on, and press it down and make sure it's straight. And now we just want to add the bottom one. I'm just going to glue it the same way. Just putting glue on the flap, and the flap will attach. The flap is kind of like our hinge to attach it to this page. And what I want to do is make it, it's very important that I line these two up straight with each other, so that when I use my little closure, it will stay closed. So now we just want to mark our little spot. So I'm going to put it where both of these are being held closed by the little hardware. And I'm going to find a pencil and mark my spot there. So let me get a pencil out. I forgot to do that. Okay, so now let's just take and lay that there again, where it's holding them closed. I'm going to straighten this up. And just put a little dot. And then I'm just using my little punch here that has a, makes a small little hole. And I'm just going to punch that spot. Just lining it up there. There we go. And now I attach this. And the way I attach this little hardware is with a little brad. So I'm just going to take and put it through the hardware hole. And then also through the hole in the paper. And then you just spread it open. And it goes on the page like that. And then we have our little closure. And so if you line it up straight like that, it will hold them both in. So then I've got these little cards that I made for it. And so I can just slide one in here. And I may have to trim it down. I figured I would have to trim it down some. Once I added glue, it made it a little bit bigger. So let me just trim both sides so they look even. So then you can just slide your, make sure I got it trimmed down enough. And just slide your little card in. And so we got one little journaling card there. Let's see if I can gently slide that in, make sure I'm not messing anything up. Make sure nothing's glued shut there, and then maybe that's, make sure I didn't get any glue. And then we're just going to slide this in this way. So we're just going to slide it in there. And I'm going to leave it kind of like that. And then this one's going to be trimmed down as well. So let me trim it down. Let's see if I trim down enough. And there we just slide it in the bottom pocket here. And you can put all kinds of stuff in here. When somebody was using this journal, they could put tickets, like if they went to a concert or something, they could put tickets or memorabilia or different things in here. And then you can just close it up. And also this can be a journaling spot. You can journal on these. And so we're going to close it up. And then you just take your little hardware here, and that holds it shut. Okay, so here's our finished project. And so when I put the card in originally, I did put it in backwards. You need to put your card in so that the back side of the card's showing here. That way you can see it through your window on the front. And then this one, it doesn't matter because it's not going to show through. And so there you have it. You have your two flaps that you can journal on, and you can write on this page. And then you also have your little closure that holds them shut. And you can put journaling cards and different memorabilia or tickets or different little things inside of the pockets. And I will link below to the kit that I'm using. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and bye.